Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Breakfast Cafe. I'm your host, Nabeel Asmal, and I'm very excited to be here with you. So, whether you're sipping your first cup of coffee, driving to work, just waking up, or eating breakfast, we've got a fantastic show lined up for you to kickstart your day. So, what is the Breakfast Cafe? Well, think about it as a cozy corner cafe where we serve up a delightful mix of tunes, news, stories to brighten up your morning. We'll be here with you every Saturday morning talking about the latest news, sports, some delightful tunes, and in future we'll have guests with us. So I can't wait for that. So let's jump right into it. Starting off with our what happened during the week, let's start off with the NHI bill. So as we know, President Ramaphosa has signed the NHI bill, as we can see from the video clip now.
I'm signing here. I hereby, in terms of Section 84.2, read with Section 79.1 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1996, assent to the National Health Insurance Act of 2023, Act number 20, and sign the English text thereof, given under my hand at Pretoria on this day 2024. So I sign where it's written President.
So, as we saw from the video clip, President Ramaphosa signed the NHI bill. But yes, what does this mean? So the NHI bill means National Health Insurance, and basically the NHI bill is to provide universal access to quality healthcare for all South Africans. So whether you're rich or poor, you'll have to apply and get like medical aid via the NHI bill for certain stuff. Your medical aid, which you currently have, won't cover certain procedures and stuff. You'll have to apply and go via the NHI bill. That's what it basically means, a universal healthcare for everyone. In some ways it's good, in some ways it's not so great. But the NHI bill covers all races, rich, poor, no matter what, you covered, as long as you're a resident of South Africa. There'll be one pool of healthcare funding for private and public healthcare. The thing about the NHI bill is money. How will that happen? Because they'll have to collect either VAT or increase the VAT to get money to fund this NHI bill. And then also, if they don't do that, the personal income tax to fund this NHI bill will have to increase, which is also a kind of a problem because taxes are already so high. Our VAT is already 15%, so increasing all that will increase a lot of things. Food prices, a lot of things it will impact. So I'm wanting to see how funding for this bill will take place. And then also on the cards now is the Bella bill. Do you agree with the Bella bill? It's basically the Basic Education Laws Amendment bill. So basically this has been put on the president's table for him to sign. But what is the thing about this bill? The key changes of the Bella bill seeks to introduce strengthening the Department of Education oversight over language. So basically what they mean is the Department of Education now is going to be oversight in the schools. They're going to have oversight over the language policies, and basically the student governing body now has less of a say, kind of. So they wanting to introduce basically like maths, maths, and all science and all these subjects. They want to teach the student in their home language. So if your home language, for example, is Zulu, they want to teach the children maths, science, and all in Zulu. As we know, currently in most schools, when you're teaching maths, science, and all, they've been taught in English. So they want to change that to teach the students their home language, basically. Also, in the bill is allowing making grade R compulsory. So parents who don't send their children to grade R will be fined a lot, and it's compulsory to make sure your child is at school. There are also various aspects of the bill confirming the ban of corporal punishment. So no corporal punishment allowed. Well, my thoughts on corporal punishment, I don't like it, of course, but I'm a student studying teaching, and I'm currently in third year studying, and I've been to various schools for teaching practicals, and I've seen to get the learners to work and cooperate, it's very hard, and not having some form of punishment, like the corporal punishment, would have helped in certain ways. Of course, it's not the best of ways to treat a child and stuff like that, and I don't like that way of punishment. But in certain ways, I could see where corporal punishment would really kind of help. Also, grade R compulsory, I feel I'm not really, I'm okay with it and kind of not okay with it, I would say. But I went to grade R when I was small, many children went to it. But I don't think it should have been made compulsory. It should have just left it how it was, in grade 1 being the compulsory standard. But putting fines to parents who don't send their child to school, well, that's good to see. They must do that. Well, I feel students need to go to school. They shouldn't be sitting at home, and school does benefit in certain ways. And then also, talking about news, let's move on to Israel, Palestine, and what's happening there. And of course, the ICJ orders Israel to halt its offensiveness on Rafah, which is great. So South Africa, they ruled again in favor of South Africa for Israel to halt whatever they're doing in Rafah. And it's not good what they're doing to the people of Palestine. Innocent children are being killed. Mothers are being killed. And most importantly is the children. So many children have died over the course of this war. And Israel, what they're doing to the Palestinians is not great. There were two judges though who weren't in favor of this in the ICJ, the Israeli judge of course, and there was a Ugandan judge also not in favor. And these two were not in favor earlier when the ICJ ruled in favor of South Africa to stop the ceasefire. So, but can't they not see what's happening? Can't the world not see what's happening in Palestine? The people of Palestine are really suffering and have to move now to Rafah, one area. They have to relocate from their homes. Bombs, hospitals have been bombed, and they had to move to one area, Rafah. And it's, as you can see, it's not a good thing. So if you can, try to boycott Israeli products, if you can. And of course, patients in Gaza, Al-Aqsa Hospital, at the risk of death as fuel shortages. Now Israel is not allowing a lot of things, food, fuel, a lot of things to come into Gaza, Palestine, and basically it's not a good sign. So let's keep Palestine in our prayers at all times and try to boycott, if we can, Israeli products. So now we'll go for a short nasheed break, and when we come back we'll talk about sports. But before we go, I'd like to say, no matter for breakfast, I don't know what everyone else eats, but for me, I'm going to be having a nice bowl of jungle oats and just some tea to sip it down. I generally like having jungle oats, and tea helps it sip down. And basically, drinking with my tea, sometimes I will have toast because I like toast also, but generally I don't have at breakfast time because I had jungle oats. I don't really have biscuits with my tea. I just have plain tea, and not all the time I have toast, but I also have that with butter and sugar also. In my jungle oats, I do put milk and sugar in it. And now let's go for a nasheed break.
Oh, when those bombs fell on Palestine streets, they bid like farewell, 'cause they were deceived. The whole world is watching whilst they all disappear. They face injustice, but God is near.
فلسطين يا فلسطين بلاد العز والكرم. فلسطين يا فلسطين جروحك بكى الحجر. صرخات طفل بريء يسمعها رب البشر. من صواريخ السماء تنزل مثل المطر.
يا فلسطيني امحي دموعي، نصر قريب. يا فلسطين شهداء الأقصى في الجنة أحياء. القدس ستبقى لفلسطين. Oh, can't you hear us? Our souls cry freedom. Why do we need a reason to live in peace? Why do they shoot us? Are we not human? Turn the land into dust. Oh, can't you see?
فلسطين يا فلسطين ستعودي أرض السلام. فلسطين يا فلسطين سيزول عنك الظلام. صرخات طفل بريء يسمعها رب البشر. من صواريخ السماء تنزل مثل المطر.
يا فلسطيني امحي دموعي، نصر قريب. يا فلسطين شهداء الأقصى في الجنة أحياء. القدس ستبقى لفلسطين. Destroy our homes and they take our children away. Only God knows the pain that we feel behind the bombs and the tanks and the sound of the planes. Therein lies a Palestine that is free.
So, welcome back. Let's get down to the sports. So, let's start off with the Europa League, and that was great to see as Bayer Leverkusen was coached by Xabi Alonso. They were on a good run of 51 games unbeaten. But the Europa League final, Atlanta came and were the first team to beat them this whole season. Atlanta even gave them 3-0. What a match it was. So Adama Lukman, the former Everton and Leicester City player, scored a hat-trick. So let's take a look at the goals. So 3-0, what a match it was in Atlanta. Well done to them. I'm happy they stopped Leverkusen streak because they have the record now, 51 games unbeaten. That's a new record, and I'm happy that they actually finally a team came and stopped that record. So they never managed to get the entire season winning in all competitions, but they did go the entire Bundesliga season without losing a game. So yeah, but it's good that they won the Bundesliga, as Bayern have dominated the Bundesliga for quite some time now. So Leverkusen winning it, and that Xabi Alonso saying he will stick around at Leverkusen. It's also great to see. And then in other news, talking about Bayern, Vincent Kompany has been lined up to be the new manager for Bayern. That's some shocking news I've heard. And basically, Vincent Kompany was the manager of Burnley. Burnley, who got relegated to the Championship, and now he's on Bayern's radar, and Bayern want him. Interesting. Do you think Vincent Kompany can make it a good record in Bayern? Can he bring Bayern back to champions? I wonder. I have to see first whether he's actually going to become the manager. At this moment in time, it's highly likely that he's going to be the new Bayern manager. We'll have to wait and see. Also, rumors going around is that Bayern want Jack Grealish, who can link up nicely with Harry Kane. Jack Grealish has been alright for Manchester City. He's not like the best of the best in the world, but he did well at Manchester City. And for him going to Bayern, it will require a substantial fee for Bayern, of course. But do you think it will work out for him to go to Bayern? Will it be a good move? I wonder. We have to wait and see. Talking about Manchester City and Grealish, well, Manchester City have the FA Cup final against Manchester United. And who do you think will win this match? I'm a Manchester City fan through and through, so I'm all the way down to Manchester City. And of course, I hope Manchester City to end up beating United. Of course, it's going to be pressure for Erik ten Hag, because Erik ten Hag is under a lot of pressure. And the pressure about him being sacked and kind of all that. But ten Hag has stated that his job is safe, the end of review is over, and he's planning a holiday as he deserves it. Does he really deserve holiday? The way Manchester United have played this season, I don't. I think he needs to focus and think what to do for next season if he's the manager. And he says he's spoken to Radcliffe and had a review. But what I've been seeing from the Guardian and the Mirror is that he's likely, no matter what the outcome of this game is, he will be sacked. So I wonder, interesting to see what's going to happen there. And then Pep Guardiola, his contract at City, he's done a marvelous job so far at City, but his contract is set to expire in 2025. And he has said the reality, his words, the reality is, I am closer to leaving than staying. Which is really a shock. I mean, I'm a Manchester City fan also, and we don't want Pep Guardiola to leave. He's done an amazing job at this club, winning 4 Premier League titles in a row. That's really amazing. I mean, the first team in the Premier League to do that. Also, he can do a cup and a league double if he beats Man United today. And imagine that. That will be really awesome to see, a cup and league double, and he can do it for 2 years. That's really great. He can do that. He'll be also the first manager in England to do that. And let's hope Manchester City win today. They had a fantastic season. Of course, they were unlucky in the Champions League to lose out to Real Madrid on penalties. Yeah, Real Madrid now are in the finals, and Carlo Ancelotti versus Borussia Dortmund. I can't wait to see who's going to win that match. For me though, I'm on Dortmund side. I'm supporting Dortmund to win the Champions League. There, last time they did make it to the finals, they lost to Bayern Munich. So this time, I'm really hoping they can win the Champions League this season. And Real Madrid have a good team, as we know, but I just want uh, Dortmund to win it because Real Madrid have dominated the Champions League, and Carlo Ancelotti is now. This will be, if he wins it, his third Champions League with Real Madrid. So, yeah, his third Champions League trophy with Real Madrid, and I don't want to see that. I want Dortmund to win it. So far, he's managed to go through with City on penalties, and then he managed to go through in the semi-finals also. Real Madrid played well to get through to the finals, of course, but I just don't want to see them winning another Champions League as they won so many in these past few years. It's time to see a different club winning it and putting their name to the trophy. And then also, as we know in other news, Barcelona have sacked Xavi, and I'm also shocked with that because Xavi was a good manager at Barcelona. Of course, the season hasn't been the best, and initially Xavi announced in January he wants to leave at the end of the season, but John Laporta convinced Xavi to stay, and Xavi agreed a new contract extension to stay at the club beyond this season. But now Laporta has made what a U-turn in April, and Laporta and the board have decided now Xavi will no more be head coach. His last match will be Sevilla in the weekend, and no more will he be the head coach, which is really shocking. And he will be replaced, or is likely to be replaced, by Hansi Flick, as the news goes on, a German coach who last coached Germany. Now he's the front runner to become the manager of Barcelona. But I think Xavi, that's harsh to get rid of Xavi. He's a really good manager. Of course, he's young, starting off in the management, but he's done a good job. He won the league last season with Barcelona. So this season he had a tough season, we know that, but they should have gave him another year. I feel. But at these big clubs, it's always they want things done now and now. And the club making a U-turn after saying that they wanted him to stay is just not great. That's nonsense. The clubs these days, they want too many things to be done, and they always sometimes they change their mind like the wind. Also, in other news is Pochettino. Pochettino, by mutual consent, has left Chelsea, and that's unfair to Pochettino. The way he handled Chelsea this season wasn't the best, but he at least finished 6th on the log compared to Man United, finished 8th on the log. So for him, now for them to be getting rid of him, I feel it's unfair. He's worked hard. I know he spent a lot, but he needs time. The players need time to get used to his style of play. It just can't happen overnight, and they improved in the ending, and he managed to get them 6th. I feel he should deserved another season there, but of course the board feels otherwise, and they got rid of Pochettino. So Pochettino then now, as we spoke earlier about Ten Hag, well, he's linked to Man United, so we'll have to wait and see. It's quite a few managers linked to Man United. Thomas Tuchel, also in the news, been linked after he's leaving of Bayern Munich. And then there's also McKenna, the Ipswich Town manager, linked to the job for Man United, but I don't think they should offer it to McKenna. Do you think Ten Hag should be sacked? I feel maybe he should carry on next season, give him another year before sacking him, give him a three years. But also, if you look at other managers, like Louis van Gaal, he was sacked after the 2 years. So Ten Hag could most probably be sacked after those 2 years. I don't think might not make it to that third season. I don't expect Ten Hag to make it through if they lose today. But I feel he should stay on. That's my opinion, and be given another year to try something. And then also moving on in the sports news, Roberto De Zerbi, the Brighton coach, has actually left his post, as I was shocked to see that. He was doing a good job at Brighton. This season also wasn't the best of seasons for Brighton as compared to last season, but that's understandable as they lost quite a few key players that have went, like Alexis McAllister went to Liverpool, and Trossard left beforehand the mid transfer window last season, but still they lost some key players. Moises Caicedo went to Chelsea. They lost quite a few key players, and so it was a tough season, but they still managed to do pretty alright this season. So, and for now, for him leaving, I wonder who will become the new Brighton manager. Can they sign Graham Potter back? Of course, Graham Potter rejected the job to become Ajax manager. He's still available, so we have to wait and see who's the new manager. And Roberto De Zerbi, now with big clubs lined up for him, possibly that's the reason why he left. And I wonder which club will try to sign him, and let's see what happens. Also, David Moyes is no more the West Ham manager, so that was something we expected, kind of. And now they reportedly signed the Wolves boss as the new manager. Let's see this season how they do, but it's harsh on David Moyes. He took them to 2 top half finishes, and this season he still managed to get West Ham to finish in the top half. So it wasn't like overall bad, I would say, in my opinion. But of course the board decided otherwise, and now he's no more the West Ham manager. So let's see what the Wolves boss does. And I wonder, David Moyes has said he'll still continue or wants to continue in management. So I wonder which club will definitely sign him. So that's just all the sports news we have for you today. So generally in this podcast, we will be having other guests, people appearing, and we will be chatting to them in future. This is the first episode, unfortunately, and I had no guest today, but in future we'll definitely have a guest and we will be chatting to them. So I can't wait for the future. But that's all we have for today in this podcast. As we wrap up today's show, I want to leave you with one thought for the day. Remember, each morning is a new opportunity to create, learn, and grow. Embrace it with positivity and enthusiasm. So thank you so much for joining my very first episode of the Breakfast Cafe. We'll be back with you next week, Saturday, and I can't wait to see you all there. Until then, stay positive, stay motivated, and have a fantastic day.